Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Week 10, double digits. I remember when I was 10, I thought I was a grown-up. I'm not. I'm now a grown-up now that I have no hair left on the top of my head. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the League of Kyle's Rivals Not So Stupid podcast. Sometimes it's stupid, but it's not actually stupid.
It's never
We are
stupid.
here, as always. I'm your host. I'm back. I know there was a little controversy last week with Dennis Mouse. I am back. I'm here with my homies. Bruce Valanche, a.k.a. your Moscow Mule. How are you, Bruce? You good? You well?
Yeah, I'm good. I got spit up on like 20 minutes ago, but we're all good.
That's tell Lisa to keep it down every now and then. Anyway, with kidding, it wasn't Lisa, or was it? Don't show her this. Anyway, and then of course, as always, the consistency. He's like DJ LeMahieu. He's always here. Alex Safe, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. I would just like to note that this episode number 23, is brought to you by a beer born with the fighting spirit, Modelo Especial.
Not a sponsor. Don't sue us.
Oh,
and
yeah, hashtag not a sponsor.
He might be here. He might not be here, but Lucho is our producer this week. So if you think Lucho's dead, turns out he's actually not dead. He took a vacation to Porto Banús. I don't know where that is. Anyway.
It's like the classic thing when people always say, well, if this guy died, I mean, if he went and took a season-long vacation.
But anyway, what we need to do is we need to wag our fingers at Thom, who declined to be here. Shun. Anyway.
He declined his player option. Now he's a free agent.
His player option.
Good luck with this market.
So here we go. We're going to get right into it. We didn't do it last week because I wasn't here. Actually, before we get into that, I would just like to address my absence last week. Some stuff was said. I don't want to get too into it, but 2020 has been a really crappy year for me and for everybody, especially. I've been going through, and this is a bit serious, but I don't want to get into it too much, but I do want to say thank you to everybody who did reach out to me. I appreciate it. So thank you guys. But I am here to stay. Really rough for you last week. So anyway, thank you, honestly, from every one of you guys from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. So,
all right, episode 23 is over.
Anyway, just wanted to say that.
On to episode 24.
24. No, but so seriously, here we go. Quick fire segment. Bruce, you weren't a part of this last time. We're just going to get the boys thinking.
I wasn't.
You were getting thrown up on before. Me and Al were talking about bullshit. So we're going to get into it. So I'm going to say this because here's how it works. I'm going to ask you something. I'm going to ask you both a question. I'm going to direct it towards you. I just want an answer. I don't want an explanation. So if I ask you what your favorite color is, if it's blue, just say blue. Don't tell me why it's blue. Don't tell me because your mother's eyes are blue. I don't care. Anyway, so here we go.
Offended. I'm colorblind.
Oh, God. And, episode 25 on the way. Anyway, so here we go. Ranking in a literal sense the mascots of the NFL, who is the least intimidating? Bruce, go.
The least, I don't know, Sir.
Like, give me your least favorite one.
Sir Purr. I could probably drop kick him pretty easily.
Not that. Like the team nicknames, like the.
I thought you meant the actual mascot.
No, I'm not that good.
I was about to say that was the only one I knew because what's that bear doing?
Yeah, like the Giants, the Texans, like that. That's kind of what I mean.
So just worst team name?
This is a quick fire segment. It's not very quick right now.
The Rams. I don't know. That sucks.
Al, what do you got?
I mean, are we saying worst or least intimidating?
Like the least intimidating. Like you would fight that. Like you could fight it.
Oh. Well, I mean, the New Orleans Saints.
Okay, fair enough. Fighting a priest.
And
Bruce,
I hate them.
Do you want to change your answer?
Yeah. Two. No.
I have a quick fire.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'll stick with the Rams. I'll just put my shoulder
it's
down.
Clearly the Cleveland Browns because they're named after the worst color on. It's not even on the rainbow. Now, inversely, what is the most intimidating out of all of them? Bruce, go.
The Vikings.
The Vikings. Okay. What about you, Al?
Oh man, probably the football team.
The football team. Interesting. That's true. They are a football team. For me, the most intimidating is the Titans. They're actual literal gods. So
what about the Giants?
The Giants are up there too, but Titans are gods.
Tall men are slow.
Tall people. So
I might want to change my answer to this from the Saints to the Cardinals.
Saints to the Cardinals. I would also say the Jets because it's just an inanimate plane. Like if you're not doing anything,
planes have killed people before.
That's a fact. All right. Anyway,
And I'm referring to when people get sucked up in the engine, not something else, you losers.
I wasn't gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say it. Anyway, moving on. Next question. It's 4th and goal, 2-yard line. You have to hand the ball off to somebody for a touchdown. Who is it going to be? Alex, go.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry, Bruce, you.
Huh. Ooh, Mike Allstott.
It would have been different if you said 1-yard line.
All right. And I would probably say, in general, I'd probably go Mike Allstott as well. Okay, so last one, just because I'm just trying to keep it real quick because we went a little too long on the first one because we're arguing about if the Jets were deadly or not. On top of that, it's 2-minute warning, 4th quarter, got to have 4 points, got to get a touchdown. Who do you want quarterback in that drive? Bruce.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
I was going to say Tom Brady as well, but then I started thinking, well, what about today specifically? So I'll give you 2 different answers. I'll say Tom Brady for 1, and I'll give you Patrick Mahomes today.
Patrick Mahomes, I would say
Tom Brady all time.
I'd say Aaron Rodgers. So there we go. We're going to end it there. I thought I had more questions, but I must have forgot them. So we're going to just move past that. Anyway. So here we go. Week 10 recap. Kicking it off with the Week 10 recap. Last week, you guys went 6-0. Thank you to the Canadian currency. Long live the Queen. Do they have one? Probably not. Anyway, the biggest surprise and disappointment, as always.
I just need to interject with our usual. If you'd like to follow along at home, please go to our league website and go to Reports, Franchise, Fantasy Recaps if you'd like to join in on the fun.
Or if you don't like the fantasy recap section for whatever reason, you can go to weekly results, Lucho.
How do I get to the? It's still up here, and I still can't do it. Hold on. It's league menu reports, and then franchise, and then weekly. You do weekly results or fantasy recap? Which one do you guys prefer? Fantasy.
I like fantasy recap.
Yeah. Here we go. Who has? I'm gonna go Al because I know you probably have it up because you're always clutch with this for the Not Stupid Podcast Game of the Week with Bruce, who beat Kyle 158.14. The Kyle's 125.7. You have it up, Al.
I do have it up.
Let's hear it. Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment.
Biggest surprise for me is Adam Thielen with 2 touchdowns versus the Bears. I would think that the Bears would have been able to shut him down a little bit better. So that's probably the biggest surprise on Bruce's team. Biggest disappointment on Bruce's. I'm going to make it a couple week thing because I don't want to say DJ Chark because whatever. Yeah. He's been whatever. Darnell Mooney because he's literally a dart throw. You hope for this giant touchdown. I'm going to say Darren Waller just because he really, I don't get why he's not being used as appropriately as he could be. He could be so much better than this, and I feel like the past couple of weeks have just been underwhelming for a player like him. I know
it's inconsistent, but and it's funny how it's funny when Kittle and Kelsey are out. There's no. Waller's was the number 1 ranked tight end.
Waller and Hawkinson, which is
right, and it's just one of I'm trying to look up the number of targets he had now.
I've got that. I was gonna move on with that, but you were okay with week 9 with 13.2 points, but that's because he got a touchdown. With the past 3 weeks, he has 5 targets, 3 targets for 27 yards, 22 yards, and 37 yards. So it's just the targets were 6, 10, and 5. Wow. So he had 10 targets a week that he got the touchdown, but he only had 5 catches. So I don't know. I don't remember what those targets were like. Maybe they were not great throws.
I have to start him. There's even regardless of my options, he's a consistent top 5 ranked potential tight end.
I just don't get it because at the beginning of the year he was looking so good. I don't get why the Raiders aren't able to continue that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
They run with fucking everybody. You have more guys getting to. I don't know. It is what it is.
So, moving on to Kyle's team, the biggest surprise on Kyle's team has got to be, when you break it down, it's not so surprising, but biggest surprise is J.D. McKissick, 17.9 points, just would check down Charlie back there, Alex Smith. You just get so many targets now, and in a PPR league, that's great, despite J.D. McKissick being a not
who had
negative
-2 rushing yards and still scored 17.9 points.
That's just not.
That's crazy.
He's not a very.
He's had a ridiculous 29 or 27 targets the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, he used to be the 4th or 5th string running back on Seattle, and then got cut. So he's whatever. And then biggest disappointment on Kyle's team, I'm going to go with James Conner. I know you just traded for him, Dennis, but the past 2 weeks he's just looked miserable. So They just can't
not
get anything
great.
going on the ground. It's been great for me with Ben Roethlisberger. He's just throwing a million times a game, but
Yeah.
they just can't get anything going the past 2 weeks, and we'll see if they can fix that or not.
All
And
right.
it's what's even crazy about that is they couldn't get anything going on the ground, and they were playing two terrible run defenses with Dallas and Cincinnati. It's just they can get things going on the ground versus like the Ravens and versus the Browns, who have been good, but they can't get things going against these terrible teams. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right. All right.
I guess my one comment is, again, I felt like I thought I was going to have that unlucky, like, oh, I'm playing someone in the bottom half of the standings, and once again, I have to sweat it out. I think Skyler put up 150 against me, and I had to sneak it out. Anthony put up like whatever he did, 125, and then by the second half of the 4:00 games, I was just pissed because I was like, well, that's that. I'm losing to
That
Kyle.
matchup wound up being a little bit closer than I thought. And if you're Kyle, you got to be pissed too, because that's a good week and how a lot of the results went this week. I think that was enough to beat more than half of the league. I believe.
It was like, yeah,
It might even be
then
more than that.
And then that Allen to Diggs like touchdown late, that was so huge that I didn't have to sweat it out for Monday night mostly. But
Right. All right.
Yeah.
So
Kyle would only lost to 3 people in the league, and it's us 3. So
right, exactly. So, by the way, all of us won. So, we'll a round of applause. Just stroke the ego a little bit. But now we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna do this one because I believe it is the next one below it, and yes, it is. Al, our very own Al.
I'd like to note one thing really quick though. Just the fantasy recap of that last match. It does say that the 8-2 Bruce pummeled a mediocre 4-6 Coach Dad Presents. I used to have 3, but now I have 4 Nets team by a score of 158.14 to 125.7, silencing a partisan crowd of 71,494 at Coach Dad's spare part that nobody wants Auto Shop Dome.
I changed mine and it doesn't come up, and I'm really mad about it because I want one of you guys to read it one day. But anyway. All right, so the next one we're going to move into is our very own Al here, beats Skyler, a.k.a. Thomas' sister Natalia, which is, I love that name. I find that to be very funny, is 128.5 to 87.82.
This was close, man. This was, a lot of these points were from like 6:30 p.m. and later.
We were just talking about that before you got on.
Well, yeah. I've been talking to other people about this too, but I had 7 of my 9 players were going in the afternoon slate, and the other 2 were one on Thursday night and one at 1:00. And those 2 guys early combined for like 6 points. So, and then my entire team was doing nothing in the first half of the afternoon slate. So I was like, 25 points
those are
by
the
6
worst,
o'clock.
because you're just like, oh, everybody.
You're just like, well, forget it.
But then, then Ben Roethlisberger. Well, I'll let you guys go.
Yeah. So here we go.
Analyze it.
Biggest surprise, biggest disappointment. I mean, disappointment is clearly AJ Brown. Not. I mean, Thursday night game. Those usually, and those usually get a little wonky.
72-yard touchdown.
Biggest surprise, if there is one, maybe Deontay Johnson making it through a game and being ridiculous, but probably Ben Roethlisberger.
I need to end that narrative because yes, he was getting hurt early this year and he was having issues with that, but he has no real injury history in college. He didn't get hurt at all last year, and now he hasn't gotten hurt the past few weeks. So it's just like, at some point, we got to stop saying he makes it through a game because it's been a month now.
Enough. So I would still say probably the surprise is probably Ben Roethlisberger in a game you figured was they were up a lot. They kind of just kept throwing, which was good for you.
Like I said, they couldn't get anything done on the ground. Ben Roethlisberger threw the ball 46 times.
So, and then for Skyler, biggest disappointment, I could go a lot of places here, would probably be probably Robbie Anderson with only 6. I mean, expectation. The biggest surprise is probably Cole Beasley, because Cole Beasley's been having secretly.
He's that like sneaky. He either has like not next to nothing, but he's like a dart throw, but consistent. If that makes sense.
He's been very good in the weeks that John Brown is not on the field, and John Brown got hurt in this game and wasn't able to come back. So you notice 8 and 9, John Brown was fully healthy, and Beasley didn't get as many targets. It's just he gets so many targets when it's just him and Diggs, and I guess Gabe Davis, but. When John Brown's on the field, he's way more of like a boom bust guy than this consistent guy. I don't know the actual injury that John Brown has now, if it's going to keep him out for a while. Or
he's just like a PPR guy, like any of those like slot guys. So I feel like he gets targets even when he doesn't have good games.
See, but that's the thing I was talking. The last 2 games where John Brown was healthy, Cole Beasley got 2 and 3 targets. So like when John Brown's on the field, though, he gets 12, 13, 7. Like
Yeah. All right. So we'll move past that. Big win for you. Had to sweat it out a bit, but listen, sometimes you got to sweat it out. Sometimes you got to get the heart rate up. Moving on.
it actually, to be fair, that Ben Roethlisberger and Deontay Johnson double dip touchdown happened pretty early. I don't even think it was halftime in that game yet. It happened
Right.
pretty early, so I
It was
kinda
definitely
pulled
first
ahead at
half.
that point.
Yeah.
And Skylar's team wasn't doing anything. Cole Beasley got a lot of his points late, so.
And then on Monday night, you were going up against James White, which was just not like anything you had to worry about really. Or Sunday night.
I was up by like
I know. But
50
anyway,
points or 40 points
So-
or something.
we'll go into the next one here. And Bruce, if you got it up, we'll go with me and Juicy Swag.
Yeah. So Dennis with 137.24 beats I guess this is great for Anthony with 62.92. So you doubled them up. I guess, to start with Anthony's team, it's tough to name a disappointment. I almost don't want to say Deshaun Watson because I feel like the entire Northeast was dealing with wind, it seemed.
A monsoon.
Right. So I feel like that kind of skewed a lot of it. I guess like the Northeast and the Midwest and like up north too, because I guess Green Bay, all of Ohio and New York and shit was all affected. But I guess if there has to be a biggest surprise, Juju with 22, but for a guy like that, it shouldn't be surprising. And I don't know, disappointment. I don't know, man. Out of this roster, maybe Hawkinson with 3 or Mike Williams with 5. Either way, when you score 62 points in a league like this where you can start 2 quarterbacks, which Anthony couldn't this week, it's bad.
I'd like to note that this is the lowest score of this year, and it's the 3rd lowest score in our league history of 66.92 points.
He was a Juju touchdown away from this being like really ugly too.
Yes, and what I think is hilarious too is this was week 10 that Anthony had this really bad score. Week 10 of last year, Anthony also had a really bad score of 60. So
Ooh.
Damn.
Listen,
week
man,
10
he needs
good
he needs the lowest score possible,
yeah.
overall.
Well, as long as he doesn't just leave guys on his bench, sure.
No, right, but
He didn't really.
right.
Have anybody
This looks like he started his best possible lineup. For Dennis, listen, in a week where you don't have Tyreek Hill, you don't have Travis Kelce, pretty good, pretty good. Biggest surprise, I'll say Justin. I'm going to say Justin Jefferson against that Bears defense, getting not even just 23, but doing it without a touchdown, just having the 8 catches, 130 something yards, I believe he had. That's great for going up against the Bears. Disappointment. It seems obvious, just DK Metcalf, but we've said it before that these Seattle receivers,
man, locked them down, man.
But even still, like we've said it before, that sometimes the Seattle receivers are as great as Metcalf and Lockett are. They're pretty boom bust.
Dennis, I do want to bring up. I know this is a far ways away, but DK Metcalf does go up against Jalen Ramsey again in championship week.
I'm not even thinking about that right now.
I know. It's a.
I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of that is in I'll just add my 2 cents in, as we always do in our own matchups. I think a lot of that was game plan. I think they kind of just said, all right, DK, you go here and Jalen will go here. And they kind of seemed to target everybody else. And then in crunch time, DK was getting his targets. But I'm fine with that, obviously, but I am thrilled that I got any production out of Robert Tonyan. So I was just, the minute he got a catch, I was like, thank Christ, I didn't get shut out of the tight end position. So
I think both of you guys, since you guys have the most Chiefs, so I think for both of you to have the schedule bounce in your favor like this, to be able to catch.
I was also so happy I won because I remember when we were doing off-season predictions, Dom was like, Anthony's going to crush him this week. There's no Chiefs. So I was like, I
still holding that over.
I'm still mad about that. But all right, let's move past that. I don't want to talk
You
about
had a
this
much
stuff.
different team at the time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So let's go to the next one. Al, if you have it up, we'll go Phil and Doggy. Score
Sure,
122.82 to 96.58. Go.
Yeah, so I will like to note that in a Week 10 League of Cover Rivals battle, the 6-4 Tom Poo Poo Duplex Mouse destroyed a tough 7-3 Anthony's and Ween team by a score of 122.82 to 96.58. Behind the support of 67,283 faithful fans at Albania's Karis Secaucus Stadium sponsored by PayPal. Um, big upset. Big
Okay.
upset here, to be honest. I'll go start with Joey's side. He doesn't really have a surprise. I mean, Antonio Gibson having a good game, I guess, is the surprise, but he had 2 touchdowns, so that's really what it was. Biggest disappointment, I mean, I can name a lot of guys that disappointed, and that's why there was an upset, but I'll just start, again, I'll try to continue it a little bit, but Russell Wilson only with 9.92 points, like
Threw a couple picks. Yeah.
threw 2 picks, no touchdowns, 248 receptions. He had 60 rushing yards, which ended up honestly saving that, but
They also force-fed Alex Collins in the beginning of that game. It was confusing. Like, you're just like, okay.
Well, yeah, Carlos Hyde is back this week, so
Yeah.
go back to that. But it's just, yeah, I don't know. I mean, not a good game from Russ. Hopefully he can bounce back there. On to Phil's team. The biggest disappointment is I'm going to say it's him deciding to start Damiere Byrd. Not even that Damiere Byrd got 0. Just the disappointment is you chose that. It's
So
Damiere
Phil
Byrd.
is the disappointment for his own team. Bad coaching, you would
Yes,
say.
bad coaching.
What
And
are
then
the other options available? Who'd he bench for him?
oh, I don't even know.
I
He
don't
doesn't.
know.
He has so many guys hurt that but it's still I don't know. It's Damiere Byrd. I don't. It's like that whole Braxton Berrios has the chemistry with Sam Darnold thing, but
Stop.
I don't know. The only patch receiver I'm starting is like Jacoby Myers, but right now.
at this point now, yeah. So,
But it's
Well,
like, yeah, listen, hey, if you can get a goose egg in your lineup and still win by a decent amount, you're
Against a
you're
good
okay
team.
for the week. Yeah.
yeah, we'll see what happens with Jacoby Myers. Julian Edelman is eligible to come off of IR as of today. He's just not off yet. But biggest surprise in Phil's team has got to be DeAndre Swift. He just got a massive boost in
He's-
snap count. He looked really good with it too.
Well, the Lions are finally fucking figured out. Oh wow, maybe. Oh, you mean we don't have to fucking run old ass Adrian Peterson when we have this guy that's actually good?
Yep. 16 carries for 81 yards, 5 receptions for 68, and a touchdown on 5 targets. It's just that's a really solid game for a guy that most people had
Yeah.
actually had them either at their number 1 or number 2
Yeah.
pre NFL draft of their running back ranking. So
Swift keeps it up, man. I think Robinson and Swift. That's a nice.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
they could end up being
1-2.
the two. They could end up being the 2 best rookie running backs from this class, and Phil would have them both. So
Yeah.
For sure.
it's
All
definitely
right, so
nice.
we'll go to the next one, Bruce. I'm going to drop this one down to you. We're going to do team Phil and Skylar sitting in a tree, KISSING, versus Alex Hawkberg sucks. Score 121.06 to Thom beating Nick at 109.7. I don't remember whose team is who because everybody's team's names are different. Yeah, Bruce, biggest surprise, biggest disappointment.
All right, so I'll start. I'll start with Nick, and I'm just gonna simply say that it's not that Chris Thompson is the disappointment. It's that it's like you said for Phil. It's the manager in this sense. It's the reluctancy to make moves that now you're forced to start a bum.
Can I just
Let's just
say
hammer this.
Can I just say this? I have to say this. James Robinson got 100% of the share of the running back carries.
As he
for
should.
that offense. It's just saying.
Well, Chris Thompson got hurt, so
But
and now he's on IR.
Right, but it's kind of like beside the point. It's like what's the upside to Chris Thompson? Whereas if you take like Nick's team's a perfect example of if you just take one of your picks and trade for something, you can make your team work because you're talented enough. And then, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just gonna say like Nick as a manager is the biggest disappointment again for this week because you're just starting these guys. Like, I mean, Kendrick Bourne's nothing special, especially with guys kind of coming back for San Francisco, slowly but surely. But it's just, I don't know, man. Just you're in like Nick's like one or two moves away that he clearly had the time to make, and he'd be in prime position. But as we predicted, he's fallen off. Biggest surprise, I mean, at this point, you can't really call Rodgers or Kamara a surprise, but nobody else really did much. Besides those 2 guys, his highest scoring guy was Jerry Jeudy with 10.8.
I'd say maybe a not great game for the Broncos. That's probably
Right, yeah, managing to get double digits. Yeah, I'd say him because, like I said, Rodgers and Kamara, you kind of expect that at this point. I mean, Kamara had 3 touchdowns. I mean, what are you going to do? I guess on to Tom. I'll say biggest surprise. I'll say Marvin Jones. I
Yeah.
think in a game that Detroit barely hung
When
on and won.
Galladay's not there, it's a good start.
Yeah, but you figure Marvin Jones was disappointing the
And-
first half of the big time.
Well, Marvin Jones with 4 touchdowns over the last 3 games changes a lot.
And then biggest disappointment.
Oh, I have a disappointment for Tom.
Go ahead.
The biggest disappointment is Tom himself for saying, I'm going to lose this week at 2 p.m. and then not losing.
Who still had Dalvin Cook to play.
But I will say that the Bears did a good job of containing Dalvin Cook. A 15-point performance is, for Dalvin Cook standards, not
For
amazing.
somebody who was literally the ball is taped to their body and said, "All right, go do something
Right.
with this." Oh, thanks.
Exactly. But listen, big win for Tom, who goes to 6-4.
Yeah, that
And
was a
then
big.
again, Nick's team, as predicted, slowly falling after their good start. His good start.
I think you mean Connor's team. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Bins Game of the Week presented by Fournette and Anthony Lascalzo, Jr., the second, the third, the fifth, the sixth in E minor. Lucho beats Alex Hochberg 110.84 to
It's
Alex's Hochberg, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's not here. 81.8. And I could not be more upset about him laying his one motherfucking game on me this year. Still going to hold on to that because I'm bitter. Anyway, all right. So we'll go biggest.
Dennis, to be honest, as soon as Nelson Aguilar scored when he played me, I think I texted Mike and I go, Nelson Aguilar, give me a fucking break.
Yeah, oh my God. Dude, he didn't. Then, you know what's the craziest part? I picked him up in redraft the next week and I started him. Nothing. Literally no targets, no catches, no nothing. I was like,
I'm pretty sure Aguilar dropped a touchdown in this game. So he might be back to his old self.
All right. So we'll go on Alex's team. Biggest surprise, if there's one, I guess. This is pretty good. I guess I'll say Stafford just because Stafford's been so this year. Jacoby Myers is getting forced for the ball, so it's like not really surprising anymore. Disappointment, Philip Lindsay. Or actually, you know what? I'll say Duke
Michael
Johnson.
Thomas.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see him on there. Yeah, 4.72. There's a lot of disappointments there, but I don't
give a fuck who the quarterback is when you're in the game the whole time and you only have 4.7 fantasy points.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And then for Shady Nasty, surprise. Oof, this is another one that I'm just not so sure. I guess maybe Harris. Harris has been pretty good for that Patriots team. And then disappointment against the
Carson Wentz against the Giants.
Against the Giants is Carson Wentz. Even though that Giants defense has actually been pretty
sneaky good.
I'm actually, I'm gonna pull an Alex here. We need to stop saying the Giants defense is not very good because it's actually pretty good.
It's not bad. You're right.
It's not bad. But Carson Wentz with a full arsenal, I guess we could say, is not.
I think you can say biggest
letdown. He's still missing Zach Ertz.
You could say
Deshaun
biggest
Jackson. Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say like classic fantasy day, like biggest letdown could be like not disappointment, but just like Boston Scott had a touchdown and Corey Clement had a touchdown and Miles Sanders didn't. So it was just kind of one of those days. But Lucha still got the win.
I mean, even 12.5 points, like out of a running back, like the way things go, like
when you don't get a touchdown, get a touchdown, that's a pretty good game out of a running back.
Right.
I do think that this matchup lived up to the Bins game of the week. So
it did. No,
sorry, guys.
You guys did pick that right, actually. So we'll go current standings as we're gonna wrap it up. Gonna bring it on home here. We got Bruce at 8-2, myself at 8-2, Doggy at 7-3, Al at 6-4, Thom at 6-4, Phil at 6-4, Luch at 4-6, Nick at 5-5, Alex at 4-6, Kyle at 4-6, Anthony at 2-8, Skylar at goose egg and 1 goose egg, which is 0-10. Don't know why I said it that way, but doesn't matter because I said it anyway. So Fantasy Pros playoff odds. We're gonna read them all fast. Files Bruce greater than 99%.
No one clinched yet.
No one clinched yet. I thought for sure that we would have clinched.
No, technically, you and
somebody's got to
lose.
Somebody's got to lose, right?
Technically, the schedule's set up where you and Bruce can lose out, and then Joey, Tom, me, Phil, and Nick can all win out.
Oh, jeez. All right. Anyway,
Jesus.
So myself at greater than 99%, Joey at 97%. In my head, I'm picturing all the scenarios where they could just go wrong.
That's why it's greater than 99%.
Thom 91%, Al at 88%, Phil 69%. Nice. Nick at 41%. So you want to talk about a sinking ship? Jesus Christ. Luch at 6%. Alex at 5%. Kyle at 3%. Ant eliminated. Skylar eliminated. Now we're going to do the power rankings, the MFL power rankings. Maybe you moved up this week. Maybe you stayed the same.
I think everything's kind of regressing to the mean here, and the luck is kind of,
Running out.
If you had some bad luck early, now I've gotten some good luck, and everything's evening out a bit.
All right, so we've got Bruce at 1, myself at 2, Al at 3, Joey at 4, Thom at 5, Phil at 6, Lucho at 7, Nick at 8, Alex at 9, Kyle at 10, Anthony 11, and Skylar at 12. You agree with them? I think I do too. I'm actually a little surprised Lucho's over Nick, just the way things have been going, but whatever. So be it. I'm not going to argue with data.
Yeah, that's true. Luch he has the worst efficiency by far of a starting lineup, so he just can't set a lineup for his life. That's a quote from Lucho. It's not me saying he can't set a lineup for his life. So the one thing I do want to make note of, we've talked about it too, but Anthony gained some good ground on Skylar for the number 1 pick. Now he's only 20 points behind Skylar in potential points.
Ooh.
So it's getting pretty close there. And then Kyle, who just traded some players away, might have a shot. Probably not. But he is, let's see how far back. He is about 70 points behind Anthony, 90 points behind Skylar. So everybody else, you're too far away. It's not going to happen.
What? I'm not going to get the first pick that I don't have.
I do want to note that if I had to make a bet right now, I'm going to bet that Anthony ends up with that number 1 pick because he traded away Derek Carr. He's not getting any QB points in Superflex, and Skylar has like 5 quarterbacks now on his roster that all start.
I think you're right. But I think you're right. I think Kyle could even challenge for that too, which is.
I think he might be a little far, especially because he still has the quarterbacks as well. He still has Cousins, Burrow, and Foles if he's ready to play.
I wouldn't be surprised if Kyle got 2.
They're saying Foles is okay, and he's going to most likely play.
Right. No, they said the injury was better.
All right. So anyway, as we discussed, it's going to be a race to see which turd gets flushed down the toilet first. So anyway. We're going to go into the trades as we always do. Our bit of our insider Alex Schefter here has written these down. Forgot about that. I didn't, obviously. So I'm gonna read them off. A couple of these were mine, so I'm gonna comment them at the end. I'll direct it towards you guys. But we're gonna start with the big one. I think this is probably the biggest one here. Yeah. So we'll go with myself. I traded Jonathan Taylor to Lucho for Derrick Henry and a 2021 second round pick, which is Al's. Now, I'm curious to see your reaction to both. I'll start with you, Bruce, because you're closest to me on the screen.
So at first I was like, oh wow, I'm surprised. But at the same time, if Lucho isn't making the playoffs and Derrick Henry, look, we always look at these running backs when they hit a certain age and go, all right, how much time do they have? And I guess this is Lucho going, all right, I'm out of it this year. Let me pick up Taylor because Taylor at least has the longer shelf life left. And listen, year one's been tough for him, and it's been obvious just watching. He's not hitting the right holes. He really just isn't doing what he did in college. And if you had to make a judgment on him after 10 weeks, you'd say bust, but obviously he has time. I like both sides. Taylor, I think if you threw Taylor into this year's draft, I still think he would be a pretty high pick. So I like it for you because it helps you this year. You were, pretty much needing a running back big time. Lucho hopefully gets the running back of the future, whether it's next year or the year after, but I like it. The second round pick is what it is. It's Alex Safe's pick, so it's going to be late. So it's kind of not whatever, but I think it's still something. It's a good trade, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I thought Lucho would try and hang on for another week and just see maybe if he gets a win, maybe he can crawl back into the playoff picture. But it seems that he opted to just cut his losses and see what happens.
Al, and your reaction here.
Yeah, I think it's a generally good trade. I didn't really like the fact that Luch had to give up Derrick Henry and a draft pick to get JT after how much JT has looked the past, I don't know, at least the past 6 weeks about it. Maybe earlier in the year he didn't look so terrible, but yeah, I don't know. Otherwise I generally like it. I don't think it's so egregious either direction that I just personally I wouldn't have wanted to give up a round 2 pick plus Derrick Henry for AJC. So if I had to say, good job Dennis, but good job Lucho for making a commitment to at least moving guys away, and getting someone of a lot of value actually. I personally, with Jonathan Taylor, I think he's going to get better. I just think that their offensive line is like bottom 5 in run blocking this year. So it's just he's not getting any favors too in a season where you had no training camp and surprise start, because I'm sure they planned on Marlon Mack still being mainly the guy for the majority of the season.
I don't want that trade to look like it's me giving up on him, because I do think he's going to be okay.
I don't think that's it either.
Like, it's you going for the title.
It's a win now. It's a win now move. And my main complaint is I took him because I thought he was going to be a workhorse, and he really hasn't been. There's been a big rotation there, and he's looked okay. It's a big adjustment for scheme between Wisconsin and the Colts, but yeah, I mean, I still think he's going to be good. But you know what, man? I get guy Derrick Henry who's going to get force fed the ball. So, and more importantly, has a really good playoff schedule.
Yeah, really. I can understand Lucho kind of, I guess you could say, selling high on Henry now. Whereas maybe in a year, this time next year, who knows?
Oh yeah, this is a totally short-sighted move, but
But again, that's what I mean. Like if you win this year, which I think your team's in a pretty damn good position to do so.
All right, so let's move past this one because we're gonna go to the next one. It's also involving me. Be quick. This is a little quicker. This one, not as big of a deal. James Conner. I got James Conner from Kyle for Melvin Gordon and his second round pick. And Kyle Kelsey apparently is in a high school player is involved in that trade. I think that's illegal, but who knows? Yeah. You guys quickly want to comment on that?
Yeah,
I'll go for it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So obviously the biggest piece in this trade is Kyle Kelsey of John Glenn High School. I mean, guys, dual eligibility with free safety and fullback. I mean, how could you pass that up? But seriously on this, I actually think this is a really good. Not to say this is a bad deal for you, Dennis, but I just think this was a really smart deal for Kyle to give up James Conner, who's not under contract. He's going to be a free agent. All signs are pointing the Steelers are not going to re-sign this guy. Maybe they still have a chance that he gets tagged. I'm not going to rule that out, but all signs are pointing that they're just going to let him walk and they're going to draft the guy. They're the team. The Steelers are a team that can afford to do that. They're 9-0 right now. They don't have many holes in their roster. Take a good running back. But yeah, for Kyle to pick up Melvin Gordon, which again, Melvin Gordon's kind of the same situation. He at least is still under contract for another year, and it's not really a crazy contract that makes sense for the Broncos to cut him. So you'll still get something out of Melvin Gordon, even if it's whatever. But just to get his own second round pick back, which is going to be an early second, I just think that's a good move to make for a guy that you're just not going to use since you're not competing anymore. Dennis, on your side. James Conner is, even despite him not being as great the past 2 weeks, he's still an upgrade over Melvin Gordon. At least, like I said, I don't know how much he's gonna be able to fix what he does. If he does, it's a big upgrade. If he doesn't, I still think it's a slight upgrade because Melvin Gordon wasn't doing anything. And 2021 round 2 pick is the price of doing business, I guess.
Yeah. I'll just say, I mean, I like this trade for Kyle just because honestly, the pick is probably, I'm not going to say it's the best asset in the deal, but they're pretty much I'll just say I offers have come my way for the Skylar second I have, and I'm not trading it because one, the guys that it's being asked for, I probably am not starting. Now, I think obviously there's a spot for James Conner on your roster, but honestly, after getting Derrick Henry, I probably wouldn't have made this move only because I think you have the receiver depth to start 4 guys. And I get it. There could be an injury. You need the insurance. But it's also, for my opinion, if there's injuries, it's kind of one of those things where, all right, maybe it's not meant to be. Let me not blow up the draft pick, especially this year. Like I said, I like it for Kyle a little more so with the pick. I think you could have gotten James Conner straight up from Melvin Gordon. To be honest,
I absolutely could not have. I'm telling you, I could not have.
He actually told me, he was like, he could have gotten James Conner for just the pick, Melvin Gordon
Oh.
was the one he didn't really care about, but he was like,
I
"Oh,
got
sure,
you.
I'll take it."
Okay, I thought it was the other way around. I thought he liked Gordon and that.
No,
or
he
was
didn't really
that.
care about Gordon, which
He
makes
didn't.
sense.
He didn't want to. He didn't want to do it for just the pick. So if he told you that, that's not true.
Oh, that is what he told me. But
Unless I misinterpreted it wrong, I sent it over because you know what? Let me put it to you this way. I'm fine with overpaying for that because Melvin Gordon's been a fucking slug all year, and
that
then
is true.
I was
Yeah.
putting up all these points with basically two massive holes in my running back situation. So to get Henry, yes, Henry's going to be the starter. Now that I have Chubb back, that's the starter. Connor's nothing but a depth move because I'm still going to start 4 wide receivers. But you know, this is the actual football. People get hurt. People get injured. COVID is a thing. So like, if you can have James Conner as your break glass in case of emergency, I'm fine with that. And to
Makes
give up a
sense.
guy that Melvin Gordon who's meh and a pick, and you know, like I'm not one of these people who's going to be like, oh, I'm going to try to win and also not give up any picks. Like I'm going all for it. It might work, it might not. So I'm not going to half-ass it. So I got some picks, but honestly, I'd rather win than have a win the draft. So I'm fine with that. So
Yeah.
anyway,
this is exactly what a trade should look like though, because normally the team that's out of contention is the one that has the leverage kind of, because what do they have any reason to make these moves? The guy that wants to win is the one that ends up paying a little bit
I
more.
was going to give him your second for McKissick, and I thought at least Connor has a chance to be something more.
Yeah, sure. And I don't know. This trade is just a model of what a good trade should be. Just like how Modelo Especial is a model of what a good beer should be.
All right, good. Genuine laugh. All right, we'll go to the next one. Kyle trades. Michael Gallup, Antonio Brown, J.D. McKissick for other things. No, I'm just kidding. For Quintez Cephas, Darrington.
Darrington. It's like it's I mean, maybe it's Darrington. I always pronounced it as if it was like Daring, like Dare ing.
Darrington. I think you're right. Darrington Evans and then Isaiah Ford. We beat this one to death. I mean, this is a massive win. Massive win for Tom. I mean, if Cephas and Evans become something, so be it. But the main issue, and like we've said, is you basically gave Ford, you traded Ford for Gallup. Because I think if you take those two players out, that trade is fine. I wouldn't trade Gallup for any of those players there that Kyle got back. But that's just me. I mean, Kyle likes who he likes, and that's fine. A little controversy around this. A veto was proposed, but I think overwhelmingly was smashed to the ground.
No,
you guys want
this
to
isn't. This isn't a veto-worthy trade. I didn't think so. Like, I don't. When I make moves, I don't necessarily like. There's players I like, but I don't like just making trades for the sake of getting a player. I still want the proper value. Like, I get it when like someone like Antonio Brown, I get it on paper. This looks brutal, but for me, I don't value Michael Gallup that much. I think he's eventually going. I think he's already a third receiver on Dallas, who even this year super weak offense with no quarterback. Maybe he's on a new team going forward. Maybe he gets better down the line. Maybe he doesn't. But I mean, and Antonio Brown's he's already 31. He's a number 3 receiver. Let's be honest. And then Darrington Evans, I just think he's been hurt, and he's got Donta Foreman and McNichols or whatever that definitely Irish guy's name is, playing ahead of him anyway. And
definitely Irish guy.
And I just, I don't like it. Almost like seeing him being hurt makes me happy. I know AJ Dillon's not doing much, but that was my debate with one of my picks was AJ Dillon or Darrington Evans, and I'm happy I took Dillon. Like, I know both of them could be irrelevant, but it's one of those things where I don't know. I don't see it. I get Kyle likes guys. I like getting equal value, but again, this trade isn't so bad that.
Everybody's gonna gloss over that accusation right there. Kyle likes guys. All right, we're just gonna let that go. Listen, there's no problem with it if he actually does. I just want to make that clear. But it was just like I didn't know that. So
I don't know. It's just it's not my strategy to just like, oh, I like players, so let me just go trade for them. Like, but listen, everyone builds their team, and I think at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't think Gallup's like anything that special. I get maybe he could have gotten more for Gallup. I understand like that argument, but hey, he got who he wanted. It is what it is. And ultimately, besides J.D. McKissick, he's the only one out of these guys that I think Tom even puts in his lineup. Like I think
Brown could go in, but don't know.
I don't even know if Brown's going to make it through this season. So
Yeah, I don't either. Which, like, anyway, Al, you have anything on this one, or you pretty
No.
much swarmed
I
it?
just know I didn't see the trade, and then I get a text that goes, "What the fuck was that?" I knew that this was not going to be good with the reactions in the
Yeah.
group me. So
Anyway, all right, we'll move past that. Listen, if both parties got what they wanted and both parties perceived fair value, it's fine. It's not that egregious. It's not collusion or anything like that. So I'm glad the veto got shot down. So, all right. So, and then lastly, I won't spend too much time on this one, but Skylar trades Cole Beasley to myself for Jarvis Landry, fourth this year and fourth next year. That's an emergency thing. I think Beasley's
it's
just
fine.
been a little more consistent than
I
Landry.
think Landry's a couple years younger. I mean his potential is better. It's almost kind of weird that with no Beckham that Landry doesn't get more targets, more like production.
weather the past 2 weeks has been bad, and they had a bye week.
But
He also is coming off broken ribs. So.
Right. Well, it's fine. And then, like I said, in Beasley, it's almost one of those he's reliant on guys being out. So if John Brown is out for a couple of weeks, then that's fine. But again,
I'm just not a Landry believer. I'm not a huge fan, and like
it's not even so much that like I'm a believer. It's surprising that he's not more productive given that Beckham's out.
he's not a good route runner. He's just really not. So, Al, if you have anything to add there, we'll just.
I really like the trade for Skyler, like what Mike mentioned, just 2 years younger, whatever. But I don't know. I'm not a big Cole Beasley fan. I get he's been good without John Brown on the field. I don't know.
He's my emergency
The fourths
guy.
don't matter at all. So it's just, I know you don't like Landry too. I've heard this before. So it's just, I don't know. I
have a guy I feel more comfortable in. I have a guy I feel more comfortable in, especially if
and again,
my emergency starts, like all my depth guys, I really like slot receivers, like with Renfro and then now him. Like that's just a strategy I have. I haven't had to break it out yet, but that's just something I like. So, all right, we'll move past it. Clearly, I was very active there. Didn't see that coming, but hey, I was. I'm an active kind of guy. Just kidding. I haven't done anything active in a long time. Anyway, so notable waivers. This one I'd like to keep as quick as possible.
There's nothing useful.
Nothing really here. Balaj went to Alex Hochberg.
Yeah.
For 54. Yes. Kyle bid 40. Bruce bid 36. I think as a short term, that's fine. I'm actually kind of confused because I thought Alex was trying to lose games and keep his points down.
Alex doesn't care, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Either way, so then
I think I might have mentioned.
10.
I might have mentioned this before, but I think Alex came to terms that he wasn't getting like a top 3 pick, so he didn't really care too much about how much he scores because, well.
And who knows? Maybe they like Balaj and he hits. It makes sense, but. All right, Kyle picked up Isaiah McKenzie. Nobody else bid for $20. It's whatever. And then Anthony picked up Chris Herndon.
For all the shit that they talk about Chris Herndon.
Yeah, Skylar bid, which is very surprising, and then Thom bid for 0.
What do you mean? This is not very surprising at all. Skylar loves tight ends.
It's surprising because I didn't know there was another place for him on that roster, but I liked Chris Herndon a lot. I rostered him and I held on to him.
Just not. And I think it says it all that the fact that he only went for $2 when you figure if this was a year ago and he was available, like guys, you would have.
I could have got him for a second and a fourth for Thom, but I gave him Cook instead, like an idiot, because I was like, oh, Herndon's great, but turns out he wasn't.
I'd rather trade Cook than Crawford, but either way, it's beside the point.
Whatever. These waivers were crisp and clean, just like how Modelo is a crisp, clean finish.
All right, so the Knots. So here we go.
Hashtag not a sponsor.
Week 11, double hockey 6. It's not quite the bar mitzvah, but we're almost there. Anyway, so bye weeks. Bills, Niners, the G-Men, the Bears. So Bears not so relevant. 49ers not
just for
as
Phil.
relevant.
Just for Phil, the Bears.
Bills
and
pretty relevant.
49ers also just for Phil.
Giants for Skylar, I guess, pretty much.
No, me, Evan Ingram. Probably.
True. Giants sneakily being fantasy relevant, I guess. Anyway,
Giants sneakily being NFL relevant.
Dude, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Anyway, and then a coach being punted in the air and fired in midair. So it's just hysterical. Anyway, so we're gonna break down the predictions for week 11. I'm gonna read them off. Well, not rapid fire, but quick, as is my middle name, Dennis. quick mouse. It's not that. That's really stupid. Don't listen to me. Anyway, the Not Stupid Podcast game of the week. Big Brucey Bruce at 8-2 versus Al at 6-4. Myself at 8-2 versus Kyle at 4-6. Doggy at 7-3 versus Skylar at 0-10. Thom at 6-4 versus Alex Hochberg at 4-6. Nick at 5-5 versus Lucho at 4-6. And the Bins game of the week presented by Zeke and Anthony Lascalzo Jr. Jr. the second, Esquire something or other, who knows. Phil at 6-4 versus Anthony at 2-8. Really? Because of all the injuries?
It's mostly because Anthony's team is going nowhere. Phil thought his team wasn't going to be. Phil doesn't even still believe his team is a playoff team, and Phil's missing Allen Robinson.
He's Lucho's matchup would be the Bins game of the week for me, but
I don't think so.
You got it
Nick,
last time.
Nick is trying to hang on to a playoff spot. I think there's a little bit of drama there. With Phil's, it's just he doesn't have Allen Robinson. He doesn't have Brandon Ayuk. He thinks his team isn't a playoff team. It's just both these guys I don't know. Nick thinks his team is a playoff team. That's really the difference.
Nick thinks about fantasy football. That's
yeah.
weird.
He was telling Tom Papadopoulos, he goes, "Yo, dude, my team is so bad, but it was so good early in the year." And Tom's
I wonder why.
Sounds
because you make no moves. He goes, "But it was so good."
All right, so here's
and
what
Nick
we're
also
gonna do.
did decline a trade from me immediately today, so he pays attention.
He does. He talks about it when we play NHL. So
he just refuses to make moves.
yeah, he's trying to prove a point. He's beating his head against that wall, and good for him. He can have it. He can push that boulder up this hill all he wants.
Free donation.
Free donation. Yep. So anyway, here's my idea with this. I'm gonna go with the predictions. I'm gonna say just off the top of your head, who do you think's gonna win? And then give a thought on it. Not like back and forth. Like I just want to hear hey Al, what do you think? Who do you think is going to win? Oh, I think I'm going to win. Why? This is this and this. I think we can save a lot of time here. Not saying that I think we necessarily have to, but I think this segment can trail on a bit. So I'm going to start this off just because I want to give you guys an idea what I want here. So Bruce versus Al. I'm going to start with the not
2019 finals rematch. First game we've played each other since then.
And I think off at a quick glance, because this is what I was saying, I think Al's going to win this. And I would say that my thought on that is because I just think Al's team is surging right now, that wide receiving core, and no Josh Allen for Bruce.
No Stephon Diggs.
No Stephon Diggs either. So
and no Superflex period, because just injuries. I can't get deals done for bullshit quarterbacks. And no matter the scenario, even if I kept Drew Brees, I still wouldn't have a Superflex this week.
Yep.
All right, so that's my thought on that. Bruce, I'm assuming you're going to say Al as well.
Listen, everything. Honestly, my hope is that Calvin Ridley plays. I think that's a big boost to my receiving group, especially with Diggs on a bye. But I'd feel more. I'd feel more confident if Zeke was an actual productive back, but he's not, and I can't rely on that. But I'm probably going to have to start him anyway.
Zeke is complaining about his hamstring today, by the way.
Okay, yeah, good for him. Fucking bum. Yeah, because who the fuck would want to play out for this Dallas team this year?
Good point.
With no line, he just fucking runs nowhere.
All right, keep it concise. Keep it concise.
I just honestly, it comes down to just the Bills being on the bye, and I don't have that stack that is honestly is good for 30 to 40 points. Like I can put set it and forget it type shit on the lower end. So just for that reason. If this game was last week with, say, the Bills and Chiefs on the bye, even if you move the bye week or something, I would feel more confident. But not with Mahomes, not with Big Ben throwing like crazy. Not this week.
All right, so I'm going to go Al here, and I know you're going to say you because that's your thing now.
Well,
tell me why you think you.
I've correctly predicted my own matchup for 6 weeks straight now. The first 2 weeks I said I was going to lose, and then the last 4 weeks I said I was going to win. I'm on a 4-game win streak, feel pretty good. Main thing is, just Mike doesn't have the super flex. And not only does he not have a QB in the super flex, but Mahomes is playing the Raiders and their entire team is on the COVID list, and Big Ben is playing the Jaguars. So it's just
this might be good for me. What if the Chiefs they blow them out in the first half and then they go, all right, here you go.
They still throw the ball.
They'll still throw the ball. Chad Henne, come on.
Possible.
Anyway. All right. So I think unanimously, we're saying in an upset, if you can consider it one.
I also would like to note, I have a few very, very good matchups on my team right now. I know. Hold on, let me see if I can pull up my team very quickly. Yep. I have, for example, DeAndre Hopkins is playing the worst pass defense in the league, Seattle Seahawks. Keenan Allen playing the Jets. So things. Obviously, Deontay Johnson playing the Jaguars, things like
I
that.
have
So
Justin Herbert playing the Jets. That matters.
anyway, all right. So, all right. I think we unanimously said Al there. Let's keep this show moving. I know that was your guys' matchup, so there was a lot to be said there. But like I said, try to keep it a little shorter here. All right. Next is myself versus Kyle, and I'm gonna go with Al here first. Who do you think is gonna win? And give me a thought on it.
Dennis, you're going to win. Kyle trade away a bunch of players on his team. Your team is just better in general. Sorry, Kyle, but I'm sure Kyle would say the same thing. So that's it.
Yep.
All right, Bruce. Same thing.
Kyle with if he didn't trade anybody, you still beat him by a lot on paper.
Right. I'm gonna say with myself just because I get Kelsey and Hill back, and I feel a little more confident in the
You'd
team.
win without them.
I would, and just anytime I take myself, I'm like you, Bruce. I always be like, but hopefully I get the win this week. So, all right, in that scenario, I think we're all agreed. I'll go to 9-2, and Kyle go to 4-7. 47, great number. Anyway, next one, Doggy and Skyler.
Dog.
I'm gonna go with Dog here, just because I know his team is kind of struggling lately. Joey's team, but no CMC this week. Still, no CMC this week. Still,
but he has Mike Davis, and
Mike Davis isn't good anymore, though.
Yeah, but
right.
I don't know.
You don't know how bad. You don't know how bad I want to give Skyler a win because I just want him to have a win. It has nothing to do with Dog's team, but I
want him to win too.
I can't do it yet until Skyler's had some good weeks, but also too think about this. Giants are on a bye week too, so no Daniel Jones and no Darius Slayton too.
Yeah,
so I think this is
Alex
Dog in a walk. I think it's Dog in a walk. You guys agree with me if anyone wants to add
there's no way Derek Carr could have another bad game, but there's no way Russ has another brutal game like he did.
Yeah, normalize Russ cooking. Anyway, Al, you agree? Same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm pissed about this week because it's just the way my annoying schedule works that now, like, it's not even in second place, but now I have to struggle to keep the bye week in hand when I was like
if it makes you feel better, I have to play Dennis the last week of the regular season, so it's not like you're only playing one of the top teams.
There could be. I could lose that.
But I play Tom.
The way your team's surging, I don't feel great about that. But anyway, in that scenario, Doggy goes to 8-3, Skyler goes to 0, and hockey sticks. So Thom at 6-4 versus Alex at 4-6. Bruce, let's go with you. Who you like here? Any particular?
I mean, on paper, Tom, he has Lamar Jackson, Allen Robinson back. The Falcons play the Saints this week.
They do.
Yeah,
it's that could be tough. I don't know. I don't know. Tom's team is just better. I just think, I guess at Hockford against Michael Thomas against the Falcons, but who's the quarterback? Will Michael Thomas be as good? You'd think he would be. I don't know. I have to say Tom. It's the better team on paper. And I think at the end, Hochberg is down. I guess he can start Jameis Winston, maybe, depending on the quarterback.
It's going to be Winston.
Because I think Stafford's out, right? Or no, he might play as the ligament.
They haven't decided. Yeah.
So either way, he's going to have two quarterbacks. I don't know. I do still think it's Tom. I think honestly McKissick. I think Tom's going to start McKissick. I think that helps because he'll probably get fucking 18 again from his 27 targets that he'll get.
I'm gonna agree with you. I think it's gonna be Thom, and I don't think it's gonna be close. He has these two. He has like at each position at running back and wide receiver. He has Adams, who you just absolutely can rely on.
Adams is hurt.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle and he didn't practice today. And most likely is still gonna play, but there's some actual concern there apparently.
But having Cook there is also just like Jackson.
Yeah. For sure.
Thom's team and your team are the two teams that are surging right now. And as for me, I think those two guys that I don't want to see in the future or ever. So no offense to you guys.
As things are lining up, we're gonna play each other in the first round. So that's good for everybody else in the playoffs.
Right. So Al, you can comment on this real quick if you'd like.
I actually think that Alex is gonna win. I think it's gonna be very close. But I'm going to continue with what I was saying, that Alex's team is going to piss some people off in the last couple weeks of the year.
Oh, it already has.
He just picked up Kalen Balazs, who he's most likely going to start now. It's like he has the quarterbacks to have a nice week, and he definitely has the wide receivers now because, like you said, Michael Thomas is there. Jacoby Myers has been very good. Tyler Lockett might not play. If he doesn't play, that might make a big difference. Alan Lazard might be back. There's like Sammy Watkins might be back.
And a baby has
and a baby.
Lisa, are you going to poop?
I mean, probably.
So it's I'm picking Alex here.
All right, fair enough.
Dennis, what about you?
Me, I thought I said Tom, and it wasn't even.
I might have missed it.
It's fine. Rocco's much more entertaining than I am. I totally get that. Rock, what do you think? Agreed. I agree, bud. Way smarter than your dad, that's for sure. All right, so Nick at 5-5 and Luch at 4-6. I don't know, so I'm gonna defer here to the guy with the baby in his hand. Bruce, what do you got?
I would have said Lucho if he didn't trade Derrick Henry, but that might be enough to put Nick over the top. Like, especially if Taylor continues on his just not being the lead back, not really getting the fantasy production that you thought. And yeah, I think honestly for those reasons, like Nick's team is still good enough. Like Kamara is still good enough. Aaron Rodgers is still good enough. Even with all the holes Nick does have. Maybe if Devontae Adams doesn't play, that affects Rodgers slightly, but I doubt it. Honestly, he's that good. But
it's a nice handcuff to have for
but I think not having Derrick Henry, and I know Lucho still has his other guys, but that's a big hole if you figure you're replacing a possible like 20-point game with like what's Taylor's ceiling. Maybe if he gets a touchdown, he can hit 10.
Yeah.
With how he's been going, I think it's going to be close, and that's the swing for me. So I would say Nick for that reason.
I actually like Lucho here. I think his team's just better, and seeing the crap roster Nick just laid out last week, really? Lucho has a really like deep team. By the way,
I forgot about Michael Pittman. How it seems like he's kind of emerging as that number one target in Indy. If Phillip Rivers can get him the ball, that is.
Yeah, I like Lucho here. I think Lucho's team is just better in general, to be honest. So, especially with like Sanders back too. I mean, you lose Henry, but you can play Taylor and you can play Sanders. Al, what about you?
Sorry, I'm not sure what was said. I had to run to the restroom because that Modelo Especial went right through me.
You're the.
I said Henry. Like I said, the lost production for Henry.
We're split.
Yeah. I'm picking Lucho in this one. I just think Nick's team has been just bad lately. Also, Jerry Jeudy is now hurt, so we don't know if he's going to play or not. I think Lucho's team is good enough to win some of these games, even without Henry. Having Miles Sanders back is big. Damian Harris has been a nice boost to replace him, but still, I'm assuming David Montgomery will be back. Or no, he'll be on bye. So, but Damian Harris, yeah. That's a nice boost. And then he always has the wide receivers. He's always had the wide receivers too to win games. True. So I'm going to pick – I think this one's going to be close too, but I'm also going to pick Lucho.
Actually, I agree with that. So Lucho takes that one. So Nick goes sub 500 and Lucho goes still sub 500. Yeah. I thought that was going to be different. So the Bins Game of the Week presented by Zeke, Anthony Loscalzo, Jr. Jr. II in E minor is going to be – Alex, who do you like?
I think this game's going to be awful. Clearly, that's why I made it. I mean, that's why it is the Bins Game of the Week. Not that I made it the Bins Game of the Week.
You made it the Bins Game of the Week.
Phil's missing Allen Robinson. He's missing Brandon Ayuk. He's, like I already mentioned, his team, now he doesn't have Drew Brees. Teddy Bridgewater, we don't know if he's going to play. However, Anthony's team just scored 62 points, and I can't really see his team doing too much better. Maybe Anthony sneaks out a win just because Phil's team is going to be so bad, but I'm going with the odds that Phil wins this one.
All right. For me, I'm going to go with Phil too. Anthony's team is just bins sometimes. Also, just quick shout out to good guy Phil for me asking, hey, would you swap for Kenyon Drake? And him saying, dude, you don't want to trade for Kenyon Drake. So I appreciate that, Phil. If you're listening, I appreciate that. I know you're bonding with your son. So what about your fantasy football take?
I just think it's like I kind of mentioned earlier. I think he's got a really good thing going with James Robinson and DeAndre Swift. I think those two guys, especially if he gets in the playoffs, that's pretty dangerous. Especially like Robinson's been good all year, but Swift is emerging, and it seems like Detroit's finally figured out, hey, we actually have a good running back. We don't need to keep like rotating stupid Kerryon Johnson and Adrian Peterson out there when we have a workhorse. So, I mean, I'm rambling, but Phil, I mean, even without that, Phil,
All right.
shit.
Fair enough. So listen, I think that segment went a lot better than it usually does. I think that was a little more concise. I kind of like that. So hopefully that continues. And so we'll read off the projected standings. Last week you guys were 6-0. I'm back now, so it's probably not going to be right because I'm a bit of a jinx. So this is as we said, and we said it's usually law. So this is what happens. Myself at 9-2, Bruce at 8-3, Joe at 8-3, Al at 7-4, Thom at 7-4. Phil at 7-4, Luch at 5-6, Nick at 5-6, Alex at 4-7, Kyle at 4-7, Anthony at 2-9, and still Skylar 0-11.
Will he get the win this year?
I will like to. After this, that means that Dennis, you clinched. Bruce, that means you clinched, and
Yes.
Joey also clinched from this. And then just like how Bruce, you're basically clinched right now because the amount of points you've scored is just it's not official. But
that's why
that
I'm glad I
one,
have the
Can I
points
also
hang on to
say
that bye.
if one person loses, I think technically me and Bruce just clinch, right?
if Nick loses, it
Right.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter
Okay.
what happens. Yeah.
Right,
So
okay,
when that's what we have here, and then. I mean, me
Yeah.
and Tom will almost basically clinch too with the points we've scored. It really is just going to come down to if Phil can hold on to
Just
that.
officially.
6.
Yeah, I got
Yeah.
you. All right. So hey, listen. Let's do a little food question here. And I'm gonna keep it. Oh, the baby's flying away. Oh, good God. There's a magnetic attachment to the child. He's gone.
Nobody who caught him. I don't know.
Yeah, that child was just thrown across the room. Just absolutely
Oh,
yeeted
boy.
across the
Someone's
room.
gonna see this and knock on my door.
It's ready. This is all being recorded, Bruce. So anyway, we're gonna start it here, and I'm gonna keep it because we're getting towards the end here. I'm gonna keep you boys on your toes. We are gonna actually do a little bit of a rapid fire food.
What?
Now, first thing that comes to your mind, boys, we're gonna keep it short because these segments were going way too long. All right, here we go. I'm gonna go Al and then Bruce. You ready? Just Al and Bruce, and I'm gonna finish it up. You ready? Favorite kind of Doritos?
Cool Ranch.
The spicy chili.
Spicy sweet chili as well.
That's
You're
the
at a
one.
seafood restaurant. What is your go-to entree?
Start with Bruce.
Bruce.
Probably
Just kidding. I'm back. It's probably shrimp scampi.
Scrimp.
Scrimp Scrappy. I used to have an uncle named Scrimp Scrappy. Anyway. Bruce.
Big fan of king crab legs if I can get it.
King crab. Rainbow trout for me. I love rainbow trout. Any type of it.
Or salmon. I don't have that option.
That was all right. So I'm going to go with myself
Salvin
here.
Ahmed.
I'm actually going to say mine first, and I'm going to give you guys a little bit just to think. So Chinese food, your favorite entree. I am a big General Tso's guy. Al?
See, I'm a big chicken and broccoli guy, but I will give an honorable mention to just shrimp fried rice. Usually, if I can get that as a side, because sometimes they give you the option to get shrimp fried rice instead of just pork
hell
fried.
yeah.
I'll do that. But sometimes I'll just only want shrimp fried rice to begin with. So
Gotcha.
General Tso's chicken, but for the sake of saying something else, pretty big fan of the pepper steak with onion.
Pepper steak with onions.
really?
Not
Yeah.
so bad. Not so bad.
I've never gotten that Chinese food.
What is your most favorite burger topping? I'm gonna say mine is pickles. It gives that nice little acidity to it.
Oh, this is easy for me. It's egg.
Egg.
I love the breakfast burgers. All
Good
those
call. Good call. Bruce?
sunny side up egg.
Probably if I'm who's never in the mood for it, but probably bacon.
Bacon? Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a layup, but I'm gonna go with that too. When you're at a Mexican restaurant or any other restaurant that does tacos, what is your go-to meat in those tacos? I'm actually going to say something very specific, but brisket, like any type of brisket tacos. Shotzi's does them now. They're fantastic.
Really? I've never had it. I'm sure I would love that because I love brisket. So I'm just gonna go with the classic. I mean, if I'm at a Mexican restaurant, I'm usually getting fajitas, but I always get steak and shrimp if I can get both. But I mean, shrimp counts as a meat. If not, just go with steak.
It definitely counts as a meat.
I just don't know how
a protein.
particular
Protein.
how particular we're being with this. If
I'm not
fish
a particular guy.
or
Bruce?
shellfish doesn't count. as meat.
Yeah, it's probably steak for me. Like this is something about
Steak.
I'm also Mexican food, my most overrated food. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay, because we're all big fans here. I kind of agree with that.
Didn't
all
we
big
go to that
fans of-
place down in where was it? Dennis, didn't we go to that place
in
down?
Middletown at
Yeah.
El Bandito. That
Mike, were you there that day?
We
I
were-
don't
Yeah,
remember.
no,
We
they're
were all
very good.
super
I just
drunk though, so it was-
Yeah,
I
that's
just
true.
think the general Mexican food. I
yeah,
can take it. or
you're
leave it.
you're not wrong. Okay, so couple more here. What? All right, so we all love poutine, right? Cheese curds, gravy, fries. Is there anything else you like in them? Me, I like jalapenos.
Well, I'm the expert since I spent so much time in Montreal. So,
Shout out to Mean Poutine, by the way.
in Vancouver, yeah. But Poutineville up in Montreal is literally, I don't know, maybe 25 feet from Tanisha's apartment,
Oh.
and that place is the best. There's a lot of different kinds. You know, so I don't. Oh man, an extra topping. Again, this is gonna be similar to my burgers, but I do like the breakfast poutine where they throw egg and things like that.
Oh yeah,
But I do want to note that the thing about that's so good is instead of it just being like French fries, it's like breakfast potatoes as the potato, which makes that particular kind very good because it's like a breakfast poutine.
Okay. All right, Bruce.
I mean, I don't want to. I just need to state that any restaurant in America, at least that I've had poutine, it's
awful.
right. Like, so I almost don't have an answer.
Because America can't get fresh cheese curds.
Exactly. I feel like I got the buffalo chicken poutine from Mean Poutine in Vancouver, so I'm just going to defer to that because that was very tasty. But I almost don't have an answer because I feel like I've only had legit poutine one time.
All right.
You'll have to, next time you ever have a chance to go to Montreal, I'll go up at the same time and we can go to Poutineville.
Right.
Or we can go to one of the legitimate Montreal, like classic family-owned poutine
I've
places.
when this
never been to
bullshit's done, I
Canada,
wanna-
so I'm down with that. So
you got it.
I'm just gonna yell at people, bienvenue, and just keep walking.
Dennis, you probably would like Mama's Mean Meatballs poutine out from Mean Poutine.
I'm down with that. All right, so I got two more here.
Cheeseburger poutine. Man, I'm sorry. Chili poutine.
What is your favorite donut? Mine is I'm a big chocolate glaze guy.
I'm a big from Dunkin' Donuts specifically. I'm a big vanilla frosted.
Oh,
guy.
classic. Bruce?
From Dunkin' Donuts, Boston Cream. But we have a bakery near us called Packanack Bakery, and they make the best like marble Krellers of all time. It's just like I don't know, they're so fucking good.
Honestly, underrated, just like a Krispy Kreme plain glazed.
I was just
they're so
if
good.
someone makes a glazed donut correctly, nothing beats it.
Oh,
It's just it's hard to find that. Did you also say it Cruller?
Yeah.
Specifically from
Because
the
that's how you
bakery
say
by-
it. Now, next time you talk to Tanisha, say Cruller and she'll flip out.
Lisa says curler, and I want to lose my mind.
That's
I don't
not even
remember what it
close.
Cruller or something? I don't even know. Oh, and she also finds it hilarious that we call them French Crullers down here because she's like, they don't obviously call that up in.
This is Cruller here.
Or I could just tell her to get something in the draw, and she would really like that one too. She's like, "What is he talking about?" Anyway, all right. So we will go to the last one I got here. This one's a little specific. You're at an arena, like a sporting event. What are you gonna get to snack on? For me, I'm a big like chicken tenders guy. I don't know why, but like I always want them when I go somewhere.
I have two answers.
Okay.
One classic, like if I'm anywhere. Well, okay. So sorry.
Is one of them gonna be a hot dog?
I was gonna say that was. This is the thing I thought of last second was my third. Technically, if there's a hot dog deal, yes, I'm gonna get a hot dog. But most of the time, I'm getting popcorn. I love just getting popcorn, freshly popped. But if we're at Yankee Stadium specifically, it's bacon on a stick, and there's no question.
Bruce?
I'll agree with the chicken tenders and fries, but if I'm at Red Bull Arena, it's specifically the empanada stand, Brisas Empanadas. The best deal in the arena because I think it's like $9 for 3 empanadas, which at a stadium is a great deal. and they're just
Bruce,
awesome.
How about chocolate covered grasshoppers?
Oh no, at whatever the
The
Mariners thing
Mariners.
is. I try. Yeah, I forget. Were you with me when I did that? And I was gonna buy the grasshoppers, but they let me try one. And I thought I didn't like it, so I didn't buy them.
I was with you and I heard you not like it, so I didn't bother either.
Oh yeah,
I,
it must have been me and Tom then.
I'm gonna end it
Yeah,
on this.
I definitely didn't try it.
I think the best deal you can get at any stadium is the bucket at Yankee Stadium. Like
Oh,
it's
just
just
the chicken tenders bucket.
yeah, it's like
Oh, yeah.
perfect. So Al, we'll go to you. I always like
And
to end this
and
number.
it has to be the one with the Nathan's French fries, not the regular
Oh
French
yeah, the
fries.
Kegel
Oh,
cut.
well,
Go out of
sure.
your you have to go out of your way to find the Nathan's. If it's with regular, I don't want it.
By the way,
Hell yeah.
speaking of fries, just want to give some free advertisement. It's just wings. The curly fries are very good.
Okay. I don't know where that is, but
Where is it?
It doesn't have a real location. You can only get it on DoorDash.
oh, okay, fair enough.
What a concept,
Yeah.
Jesus!
So there's-
it's just someone out of their
DoorDash is-
house making wings.
DoorDash is doing this
Small
thing
deep
where they're
fryer.
like DoorDash
They
exclusive
run over
restaurants.
5 hours.
They create the wings. It's all they have is wings. They create and they have deep fried Oreos as well and curly fries. But they make all this stuff out of Chili's. So if you have a Chili's near you, I know obviously Dennis, it's Poughkeepsie for us. But Mike, if you have a Chili's near you, it's probably on DoorDash. It's just
Nice.
wings.
All right.
Oh.
So
Anthony
All right,
got
I'll-
fooled with that one when Tom and Kyle got it. There. Anthony goes, "Oh, where did you get these?" And they're like, "Oh, it's just wings." He goes, "Yeah, but where did you get these?"
yeah,
And then I guess after a while, he just goes, "All right, fine. I don't even care where you got these."
Shout out to Front Porch by me that does double fried wings. The best.
yep. Shout out to Jesus. I don't know. Anyway, Al, fan of the week. Well, I'm gonna let you carry
yeah.
that off because
Yeah, so I'm struggling this week. I don't know if you got. I don't think I have anyone particularly in mind. Do you guys know? Did anything happen?
I think I have one, and it's a reoccurring one. But I was talking to Dog the other day, and he said he looks forward to the podcast. So I think right there
That's
it
enough for me.
should be Dog, and he's.
I'm gonna give an
on.
honorable mention though because
Yeah.
Skylar has been begging to come on. Not begging. He's been really asking about coming on the podcast. So we're gonna
Yeah,
get him
get
on
him on.
soon. But he's
Yeah.
been looking forward to it too. So we're not gonna win this week over Dog. But
You know what? How about this? We'll just give it to
climbing
Skylar.
ranks.
I'm going to give it to Skylar just because Dog's had it a bunch of times. We'll flip flop it. Skylar gets it, and then Dog gets the honorable mention. How about that?
All right.
I'm making up these rules as we go here.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
All right. Anybody have anything else? Anything?
Not really. I feel like it was a quiet week, but we kind of covered everything
Good job on the
in
podcast.
record time.
Yeah, I mean,
this went about an hour and maybe 10 minutes.
Bruce,
That's really
how much
good.
time do you
15,
have?
hour 15.
I'm at 1 hour 24 minutes, and I
And we
forget
didn't
when to
start exactly when Bruce jumped in, you know.
It's probably like hour 15 is closest. So if we
Yeah,
don't
it's-
have
yeah,
anything,
that's-
I'm going to wrap this up with my thank yous. As always, thank you to everybody who is listening. I do appreciate Dog and Skylar both saying, they look forward and they want to get on. Al, thank you as always for doing the show sheet. It keeps getting better and better and better. It makes things so much easier for me. Bruce, thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this. I know you have a newborn child and your wife, it's like your wife's doing anything. So I do appreciate that. And I do appreciate your beautiful wife, Lisa, as always, for watching the child, unless she's pooping, which probably,
I don't know where he is.
he's out of here somewhere. Appreciate Rocco for being here too. Big shout out to Luch, as always, who always makes this so much easier for us in general. Not even here. I hope you do feel better.
He's here. He's our producer.
Yeah, appreciate you, Luch. Anyway, also too, I know I said it before, but thank you to everybody. Seriously, thank you for reaching out to me. It means the world to me. It really does. 2020 has been a real crap year for everybody, but been going through a little shit personally. So thank you. Seriously, thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I do have some final words that I'd like to note too. I just, again, congratulations on us finishing episode 23. I'm surprised we've gotten 23 episodes in. And I do just want to say that everyone knows that hard work deserves a fitting reward. A Pilsner style lager with a clean Modelo Especial.
I love it. But and as always, as I always say, thank you for giving me something to look forward to, all of you guys, on a Wednesday night. Hey, listen, if you guys don't have anything else, we'll see you in 24, and not the TV show, not a sponsor.
Oh, fuck, dude, Jack Bauer here.
Happy hunting, everybody. I hope you win. Hopefully you keep going. So we'll see you guys next time.